Right. Okay, Happy New Year, everybody. Good to see you all.
Great.
Right, so got a new project this month, which is buildings and urban scenes. And I thought I'd start really simply, just with a simple perspective drawing, because I thought it might be useful to some people. Okay, and then next week I'll go on to sort of street scenes and maybe use a bit of pen and wash and things like that, and perhaps use other mediums as we go along. So the whole sort of theme is kind of urban scenes. I thought I'd perhaps use this one and this one for the demo, and I've got multiple copies of this one if anybody wants to use that one. So this one, just going to use this more of as a sort of diagram type drawing. So with, probably a lot of you will be familiar with this already, but with perspective, the basic idea is that things that are close to you are going to appear bigger or longer, and then things that are further away are going to appear smaller or shorter. So in this case, if I was drawing this building, this edge here is a lot closer to me than this edge, so that appears a lot longer. These windows here appear bigger than these windows because they're a bit closer to me, the closest to this edge. So I would probably start off perhaps with this bit here, and I'll draw some kind of guidelines really. So that could be that edge. And what you find what we know about buildings are that the floors are all horizontal, and the windows and the roofs and the ceilings are all horizontal. So there's a temptation when we draw something like a building to want to make these horizontal lines. But because that's closer to us than that, these lines will all need to be at angles. Yeah, so the bits that join up will need to be at an angle. Now what happens if you follow this edge along, if you just kind of continue that line out, that'll come down to here. And then if I continue this one from the bottom, that'll sort of come up to here. And you could call that, like, this would be called the vanishing point. So it's like this, hiya. I'll just draw this over here. So if we can make a drawing of this can be a stylized drawing. That's basically the angle I'm seeing there, so I'll just try and transfer that across. I'll just do this in orange to start with. These can be like the guidelines. And then this one at the bottom, we want that about there. Be like that. And where the two meet is basically my eye level. So this photograph I took, and basically I would have been standing at about that level. So if you look at a photograph, basically it's sort of where that's at that angle, these angles gradually get shallower, and about there it becomes like a horizontal line. So sort of these window bars here are fairly horizontal. And then below them, so that's the way of working out where the eye level is. And if you look at a painting or looking at a photograph, that's how you'd work out where the eye level would be. And then below that level, the angles would go the other way. So I think of them as a fan. They're all angles that are fanning out. So that would be that side of the building.
Isn't it? I really like that. Yeah.
So, in terms of this building, try and draw some windows in, or draw a bit more of it. So this can be the windows downstairs. I'll draw that in as an edge. And then perhaps pop a window about there. It's went a bit wider. Oh, no, it's a bit too wide, I think there. So that could be one set of windows there, the angle at the bottom. The door's going to be about there. The porch is a little bit more tricky. I'll draw the porch in a minute. We'll ignore that for a minute and just draw the upstairs windows. So the upstairs windows. So yeah, what I find is probably a tiny bit of an angle there. I might make that too steep. Let's make that a little bit lower. And then going upstairs, there's a little bit of an angle there and the same here. That's there to that one, there to that one. There's probably a little bit more space between there. Not going to worry too much about that. Just about there. And then gap between the windows. I'll do the working out in one colour, just make it a bit more. So that's got to come into there. So I think the end of the building could come to there. And then things like the window bars, these little lines, they all need to, again, just come back to this, like that. And I just remembered, I've got the extra long rulers, if anybody wants to use them, which I put in my bag the other day and forgot. So these can sort of fan out like that. So you just have one point, and well, if you say it was the top of this, just have all those sort of fanning it out.
I forgot about the, I'm calling it an infinity line.
Vanishing point.
The what?
So that's eye level,
Yeah.
and that's vanishing point.
Vanishing
Yeah.
point. I forgot about the vanishing point when I was doing the panes in the window.
Yeah. So they're all, and they're saying down here, there's only one on that one, and that's the one that's horizontal. So this window here, that should be the window bar there. Like that, and the top to the bottom will be like that, really. That's coming out like that. Yep. On this type of building, which we can't see, but I'll just simplify it and imagine it. Okay. So if I carry this along a little bit, let's move that over. Let's make that the. This is my imaginary side to the building. I'm going to ignore the garage there. That is probably a bit too steep, really. But probably the building would come to an end about there. If I want to find out, so there'll be like a pointy bit here. And one way of working out where to do that bit is if you pop across through there, like that, and then just take that line up there, like a vertical. That will give you, then somewhere on there will be the midpoint in perspective, the midpoint. So I'm going to say up to about that height. I can have a look at that angle there and just move it over. It's probably good enough. So that can be where the roof will come out. So basically what you find is that bit needs to be lower than that. And quite often I see on drawings, perhaps people get that side working, but then they go horizontal here. But try and get that one lower. And then to finish the roof, take this back to the vanishing point here, like that. And yeah, I can't see an awful lot there. This angle back here, I tend to get that. So what I do is hold that angle, bring that across there, and just make it a little bit shallower. Just bring it back a tiny bit.
Oh, you make it shallower? I was expecting you to say it would be the same.
No, it will be a little bit shallower.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it?
If you did it the same, it probably wouldn't look too bad. But in actual fact, it would just be a little bit shallower.
And if you wanted to work out where that point of that roof was.
Okay, I'll do it this time.
Yeah, sorry, no.
No, you could do, if you imagine the inside of that building, like go lines to there.
I'm going to do it now. No. Sorry, I wasn't really.
That's like the back wall in here. To find you basically want to cross over. Where the lines start to get confusing. So that one needs to cross, where was it? I'm getting confused with my own lines now. It's going to be going that way. Yeah, it's that one crossing that way there.
Oh,
I think that's it. I think that's it.
yeah.
It's basically if you go there to that corner,
So
and there to that corner, and there to that corner, and there to that corner. I think that gives you an
That's
imaginary.
amazing. And then you do the cross, and
And then you
it's
could do the
up.
cross there, and hopefully that should come out.
It's so clever,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, but that's complicated. I don't normally teach that because it's easier to just think,
It's only clever if you can actually
go like that,
Otherwise, it's just a mess.
something like that. Yeah. I'll bring this along here. This cottage had chimneys, so that's going up like that. So the top of the chimney, it's hard to see in the photograph, but the very top, again, I see a few people miss this one. They need to go back to that point. So you'll find there's just a little bit of an angle there. And then this side of the chimney, just draw the other side in, that will go back to this one. So that's going back to here, something like that. So you've got them,
So
and
clever.
then you can just draw your chimney top.
And
then it
I
does
think
take
it
care.
would be easier, leave the chimney on.
Leave it yeah, yeah, no,
If you just draw a circle instead, that would be easy, wouldn't it? Just draw an arc.
just have a
Yeah,
circular
exactly.
chimney. Do you want the Tudor chimney? No, I'm not doing that. But yeah,
What,
that's,
the Tudor chimney? What's that?
yeah, you know the Tudor ones, where they're at a funny angle, aren't they? I can't even think how it'd be. Something like that. wouldn't it? They're not square to the building. They're just sort of quite
No, I
funny.
like watching.
Yeah, but that's a sort of simple. You know, if you wanted to have a go at perspective drawing and you want a nice, simple diagrammatic, I mean, you don't have to be that complicated. You could draw like a garden shed or something like that, or a beach hut. Just do it like sort of fairly imaginative.
No, I find just even vaguely thinking about the fact that, right, I'm drawing a building now and it's going like this and there's this vanishing point. Immediately, the drawing is better.
Yeah,
Just with that in
yeah,
my head.
yeah,
Because
yeah. And the idea is to just kind of establish it as an idea in your mind, so that when you're drawing and when you're looking, you know, when we're drawing outside or looking through the window, we've got this in the back of the mind that these angles should all be fanning out. If it's anything on this front face or the roof, the angles should be fanning out that way. On this side, they should be fanning out this side. So for instance, say we had weatherboarding on here, they would literally just all be coming out at different angles, something like this. Yeah, and you just have, you know, if this was, say, the side of the crooked pillar up at the end there, you just, they'd all be just literally, you could see them fanning out like that, and the same up here. If you had, you know, a window up here, you know, the top would go back to there, the bottom down to there. So that would be something like that. Or a door here, you know, would perhaps come up to there. So I mean, you could just make up a little imaginary building. It's quite a nice exercise to do that. You could use one of these pictures as general inspiration if you wanted, or just make something up. This is another one. Again, I've got lots of copies here. This is one I quite often use to demonstrate from, but you know, I won't go through it again. But that is one that you could work. And the nice thing about this particular image is that when I took this photo, I was fairly close to the building, so I think the vanishing point on this side is probably somewhere about there. On this side, it's probably going to come off, but it's going to be sort of about here. So with a biggish piece of paper, it's just, you could just about fit it on the page. And most of the time that you're drawing and painting buildings, the vanishing points are going to be well off your page, really. So that's where it's not, you know, if you go out painting, it's not that practical to start constructing all these sort of things, unless you've got a nice big piece of paper and a big drawing board.
But how you fit that on that page works well. So if you're time small in the middle of the page, and you can draw a vanishing point.
Yeah. I mean, if you had a board or something, you could physically, construct it, and that's why I've got these extra long bits of wood. If you wanted to, do something, you could not quite line up, but you could, you could use those.
There's also something I really like about you're not using a ruler in that demonstration. You're sort of saying, it's that line, but then look still how accurate it is. Even though you're not using a ruler, because it's like you can draw in quite a relaxed way. If you have that in mind, it will still look very 3D.
Yeah, I think I tend to just draw like this anyway.
Yeah.
And if I want it sharper or straighter, I tell you what, if you draw it, sometimes it's better to do it freehand and then sharpen your drawing up with a ruler. Just make it a little bit sharper. If you want it really straight, and if I was painting this, I probably would just sketch out roughly, and then I'd get a bit bored and just run my paintbrush against the board to get a nice sharp edge. But I think it's awkward drawing with a ruler to judge the angles is hard. I think it's actually easier to judge the angles freehand and then straighten things up a little bit.
I feel like psychologically, with a ruler, it makes you think, this has got to be perfect, this has got to be perfect. And what's interested me today is that it's very, how accurate it is, even in a sort of loose way, when you're just thinking where the vanishing point is. I don't know, I'm not saying that very well.
I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? It's not exactly accurate, and the angles are slightly different here, but it's convincing as a perspective drawing. And I think that, if you can draw a convincing perspective drawing, and that you're halfway there, don't make it too difficult for yourselves to start with. Just pick something, either make something up, or if you're going to use this one.
I was thinking about the brick walls.
Sorry?
The brick walls.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because these like the courses of brick literally do fan out. You can follow them there, you can follow them here. I think with this picture, the eye level is somewhere. I think we worked it out. It's about here. If you look at a picture like this, you probably find that there's a place where the bricks, you can follow the angles, and you might come up to about here, and like you could draw a straight line across the bricks here, and then across here. So one line could go straight through the course of bricks, and that's a way of finding your eye level.
To find it through bricks.
Yeah. If you've got something like bricks or weatherboarding or something like that. Is that enough to get you started? If you want to go anything like that.
If no one else wants to, I don't know how many paintings you've got of that one, I wouldn't mind having
You can use that one. I've only got one of those, but you can use that.